Welcome back to the Hawkeye Garage. I am Joe. This week we have the GX back in the garage. We're going to be working on the lighting once again. You may remember a few weeks ago we tore out the factory fog lights and replaced them with some really nice yellow 3-inch LED fog light pods thanks to Lasfit auto lighting. You guys really enjoyed that video, and I've really been enjoying those lights, so I got a hold of Lasfit again and said, what are the chances you guys want to send me another set of pods, this time a set of white LEDs? And they said absolutely. So we are going to do a little bit more modification on the front bumper, and we are going to end up with quad LED pods. Stay tuned. Before we get down in the bumper, a couple things. Of course, yes, we've already installed those yellow LED pods, but we're going to move them to make room for the clear ones so we can have all 4 of them down there. 2 aside, not 4 aside. If you were wondering. This is a pretty popular mod on these 470s. I've seen a couple things online how most everyone mounts them that I wasn't really a fan of, and I feel like I've remedied that, so I can't wait to show you guys that. Just a couple little tweaks that I think make the install just that much better. Alright, now again, it is insanely hot and humid here in Iowa, so I've got the doors and windows open in the garage. I've got the fan running in the background, and I've got the New Air portable AC running in the background as well. I've got the lapel mic on again. It seems to work out pretty good. So if there's background noise, again, you're not going crazy, but I do apologize. So over here on the driver's side, and of course, I've got both sides done, but I've torn this side back apart so that I can show you a couple things that I have done. Now, originally I had these amber pods mounted kind of in the middle. Well, I've moved them over closer. Let's see, is that? Yep, we're just gonna let that hang. I've moved them over closer to the grill, the middle parts of the bumper, and so that I could fit the other pod in there, obviously. Now, if we take a closer look inside, you can see right in there on the inner mount, I've actually drilled a hole inside of the bumper so that I can scoot it over even that much further, so that the bolt goes in there. Now, it doesn't look like it actually scooted that much further because the bolt actually doesn't go in there, but when you take the whole thing into consideration, it actually moved it over close to a ½ inch. Wow, that bumper is really buggy. Sorry about that, guys. So we've got that all the way over. If we take a little bit closer look inside, I did have to use my oscillating tool, and I did have to remove some more material on these guide things. Now, I will tell you, with all these modifications and trimming and the hole back here and mounting all this, if I wanted to put the original fogs back in, I still could. You could still put them back in there and you would never know that I've done anything. All right, now we've got room for this other pod light. I did go, so these are the same size, obviously 3-inch lights. They both got quad. So I'm doing quads. Is that oct lights? These are a fog pattern, just kind of low and mildly spread out. I went with driving lights on these. I kind of want to point these out a little bit further, out to the sides a little bit, kind of to emulate ditch lights a little bit. We do a lot of country driving at night. We live kind of out of town a little bit. So it's nice to have, quote, ditch light coverage, which these have been suiting the bill for. This light is mounted down through the bottom, like in the last video, again, that I showed you guys. I did this. I drilled the hole the same way with a pair of leather gloves and a step bit, and I did it by hand, and you know, no problem, it worked. This one is actually mounted up through the top, and the way that I have it mounted, I had just enough room. I think this is a 5/16 drill bit. I had just enough room to drill it up at an angle, and because it's plastic, it's a little forgiving, so that this goes up there, and it's perfect. Now, you might be wondering what I've got going on with this bracket on the side. So yes, I've got this bracket on the side. This is just a piece of like flat stock from the hardware store. I honestly don't remember why I have these, and they look awful because the paint is all coming off of them. But if we throw this light, you know, into place real quick, like so, essentially. No, it's not bolted up. The bumper itself is molded so that this, and I'm going to exaggerate it a little bit so you can see it better on video. If you do it in person, you'll definitely be able to see it. It is molded so that this light will be, you know, essentially level with the ground, but this light is going to be kind of like that. And I had noticed that in a lot of other people's posts, and, you know, not a big deal, but if you are not new to the channel, you'll know that that's just not going to fly with me. So that bracket, and I got lucky enough, you know what, let me grab a tape measure real quick and let me measure this for you guys. All right, the important measurement that you're going to need to know if you're going to try to attempt to do it this way, and I think if you follow, like if you move this light over so far that you have to drill a hole in there, that'll get you pretty close to where I'm at. And then if you essentially, actually you could bolt this, well, I'm jumping ahead of myself. 2 1/4 inches, center to center. This is the hole that you want to be worried about, and that is the hole that you want to worry about. 2 1/4 inches. Of course, you could make your own flat stock, whatever, but that's what you're looking for, because we're going to put this light over, and of course I'm going to have to do it off camera. We're going to line that hole up with the mounting hole on this first light, and then after we tighten it all down, you're going to end up with something like this. Yes, we've moved over to the passenger side where this one is all been prepared earlier for you. So as you can see, the lights are sitting pretty much even. Well, in person you can anyway. They're sitting pretty much level with each other, level to the bumper, level to the ground. The driving light is stepped just back of the Allen bolt, holding the yellow light in place, and it all fits together so nicely. Let's take a little snapshot of how it looks like from the side. This kind of gives you an idea of the overhang, how far they stick out, things like that. Now, more about that little plastic piece in just a second, but I'm really happy with how these turned out. You guys might remember from previous video, I just was not a huge fan of how much like air and road debris and stuff that could get into the bumper and inner fender area because of how much open area there was, because this is pretty much open in the back behind where that fog light lens would have been, but we've got everything really just tightly tucked in there. There's gaps in the corners and underneath, but it's not bad at all, which brings us more to this piece. All right, I'm going to refer to this as a fairing, I guess, for the sake of the video. Of course, there was open space over here, and it just didn't look finished. I didn't like it. Probably a lot of you aren't going to like this either. This is not 100% finished. Anyway, what I've done is I had some 1/4 inch ABS plastic, textured plastic on hand from one of my friends doing some other car project. So I kind of made a cardboard template and I cut a piece of plastic out, and basically I stuck it in my vise and heated it up with my torch and I bent it. That's what I did, and then sanding and trimming to make it fit this hole, and then my original idea was to take this screw out and then bolt the fairing to that bracket, but of course the 1/4 inch was it's too thick. It just didn't really work. So I've used the heavy duty, the automotive grade 3M tape on here, and I just stuck it to the bracket. I cleaned up everything really good and I stuck it on there. It's been on here for a few weeks now. We've done 70, 75 mile per hour on the highway. It's been out in 100-degree heat, and it's still on there. Kind of surprisingly, I guess, I don't know, but I think it looks way better than having just the open space, like you'll see on the other side, because I haven't made that piece for the other side yet. A couple quick things that I forgot to mention earlier. Lasfit sent me a couple different lengths of brackets. They said that they have a couple different styles, and honestly, just depending on the manufacture date of your lights, it will depend on the length of the bracket. I believe they've gone to a slightly shorter bracket, which is what my yellow ones came with. And at this point, I'm not really sure I don't remember if this is the longer or the shorter one. Anyway, the important thing is I did go ahead and I re-drilled the mounting hole so that I could get the right height comparison between the lights versus the how I had to mount it in the bumper. So if you guys have to do that, it's just a 1/4-inch hole. Don't be afraid to drill out another hole on either side, and especially if you're going to go with a little fairing thing like I did, it's going to cover that all up anyway. You might want to hit it with some paint to help eliminate rust in the future because they are steel brackets, but that is something that I did that helped a lot with the fit and the finish, and I didn't want to screw you guys up if you're trying to replicate this at home wondering why your lights aren't lining up. That is why. Another thing real quick, I wired these directly to the battery so I can turn them on anytime I want. All right, let's go ahead and overlay some footage here while I wrap up talking because this video is already going a little long. Like the yellow lights, the white ones perform awesome. I love how they look by themselves. I love how they look with the headlights, with the yellow lights, combination of all of that stuff. As far as the wiring, I did go ahead and use the supplied wiring harness from Lasfit and ran it into the cockpit. The harness is really nice harness. The weather, pack connectors. It is really long, so I do have a lot of excess wiring, like bundled up and zip tied and tucked inside the engine compartment. I don't know if I'll be able to trim that down in the future. Well, of course I can trim it down in the future. I just don't know that I will. But I don't know what I'm going to do for lighting for this in the future. So I'll probably just leave it alone for now and see about adding switch panels and things like that. As you know, I've mentioned I picked up 3D printing recently, and I've found switch panel plans for the Toyota switches. So that is that. How did I get to mounting that light? There's one little screw on the inner fender plastic. I took that out, and after I had drilled the hole where I needed to drill it, which I just I put the bracket in there and used a Sharpie and hoped for the best on my placement, and actually I'm pretty much 4 for 4. I'm actually like 6 for 6 now on holes because I moved the original yellow ones after the first video. And you can get your hand inside that inner fender. There's plenty of light coming in from the front so that you can see, and there's lots of room to work. I just used a ratcheting wrench after I finger tightened it, and yeah, it all cinched together extremely well. So that pretty much wraps the video up. Again, thank you to Lasfit. They've supplied all of the lights on the GX. They supplied the light bar on the 4Runner. They make really good product for the price. I've really been impressed with it. And of course, there is links to their website and products down below. And of course, there is a coupon code down there as well, so be sure to go check that stuff out. I will also link my Instagram, my Facebook, and why don't we go ahead and link Lasfit's Instagram as well. So head on over and check those things out. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and turn those notifications on. We post a video every Sunday, mostly 4x4 stuff, but I have some mountain bike videos. I'm just waiting for things to fall into place as far as parts and my time and the weather so that I can get those videos made. We're gonna be talking about the new Air portable air conditioner over here because it's so awesome, and I've got another inexpensive fridge freezer to show you guys. Those two videos will probably be bonus Wednesday night videos. So until the next video drops, whether it's Wednesday or Sunday, thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.